and I just saw the roof of the nave. It looked quite intact. I thought, thank heavens, there's a familiar place to come back to. I thought, well, you know, thank heavens for the church, or thank heavens for the council. The cathedral is still there. From a tourism point of view, and I was involved in tourism for 11 years, to me and to a lot of other people, it is a focal point of the city. You know, Auckland's got the Sky Tower, Wellington's got the Beehive, but internationally, if people think of Christchurch, they think of the cathedral, and long term, to retain the cathedral would be a good investment, even from the tourism point of view. So that would be my second point. Thirdly, it is technically feasible. We've had experts from all around the world saying how it can be done. I'm personally an engineer, but not a structural engineer, but I have read enough comments from qualified people to know that technically this cathedral can be repaired before somebody gets into it again with a big bulldozer. Financially, sorry, it's not my scope to comment on finances. However, I do make a suggestion that we built a church in Summerfield 50 years ago, and we sold individual bricks to individual people. I think it was 2 shillings at a time for a brick. So possibly you could go for a public subscription and sell a stone at the cathedral for a little more than 2 shillings. The other thing I'd say is, if the cathedral was to be refurbished, it would show that, you know, Christchurch does have a recovery spirit, and we're not really a city of demolishers, which it appears to be to the outsider at the moment, and I've heard these comments wide and far. And is it a possibility that the council could run a Christchurch-wide referendum following these submissions as to how many people in Christchurch would be prepared to, you know, put in $10 or $20 or $100, you know, purely additional to their current financial burdens, just to save the cathedral? And finally, I'd say I'm personally I'd be happy to contribute either site labour or project management, which is more my forte. And you know, if you could get a sizable group of volunteers, I'm sure something could be done. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your submission. How would you feel if the council, together with the government, actually compulsorily acquired the church, did the restoration and then handed it back to the church? How do you think that would go down?
Yeah, personally, I'd be very happy with that as a proposal. Because you could then slot it as a multi-use facility, couldn't you? Or multi-religious.
You particularly mentioned the focus tourist attraction, and also Christchurch kind of cathedral garden city, rather than Christchurch low-key couple city. But if this cathedral, you know, will be completed after 20 years, this time period still use the couple the cathedral, you know, whether you are acceptable or not.
I don't think the time frame is particularly troublesome. You know, you look at the Houses of Parliament in London; they've been there for what, 200 or 300 years. So, you know, 20 years here and there is neither here nor there. As opposed to Christchurch being known as the cardboard cathedral city, or the upside down ice cream thing, or whatever it's called in the square. So I think, as a cathedral city, Christchurch should be here to stay.
Have you talked to the church about this? I mean,
No.
Okay, so you don't know if they've done any feasibility with regards to buy a rock, or looking at the voluntary or social value that they could get out of their...
No, that level's a bit over my head at this stage. Yeah.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay,
Thank you for coming and actually speaking to it as well. Much appreciated.
Thank you.